per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right on cue.
It's more than just a meal. It's Meow Mix mealtime. With wholesome ingredients and irresistible taste, it's the only one cats ask for by name.
There's nothing I would rather do, nowhere I'd rather be. There's nothing that quite makes me feel the way you do here with me. I'm happy as I can be, 'cause I have you and you have me. I'm happy as I can be, 'cause I have you and you have me.
In 1902, Carrier introduced the world to modern air conditioning, allowing people to live comfortably, anywhere. Get ready for our next big cool idea. Now the people who invented home comfort as we know it are thinking about the specifics of your home and how you live in it. What if you could control your home's energy efficiency with a fingertip, or just let us do all the work for you? Well, what if is now what is. Carrier. Turn to the experts.
We fight a war against spiders, roaches, and every foul pest that haunts your home. And we won't stop until we've killed every last one, until you're certain they're gone for good. Our arsenal is a formidable one. An army of 8,000 professionals, 85 years of experience, and the strongest guarantee in the...
You used to sleep like a champ. Then boom, what happened? Life happened. Stress, fun, bad habits, kids. Now what? Not milk, not sheep, not that. Let's think smarter. Let's get some science in here. Let's build a bed.
Another bed?
No, a smarter bed. An entirely new Sleep Number bed that tracks your movement, your heartbeat, your breathing. Sensors working directly with the dual air chambers. Yeah, you need the air chambers. Introducing the Sleep Number bed, now with Sleep IQ technology. It tracks your sleep patterns and tells you how to adjust for a good night's sleep, a better night, and an awesome night. So what Sleep Number adjustments make the difference? Try cranking it up. Adjust it down, a little bubbly, or nix the late night flicks. Wait, you'll know what works, because Sleep IQ technology tells you. And all you have to do is sleep, which is easy. Only the Sleep Number store. Mattresses with Sleep IQ start at just $999.98, because everyone deserves a great night's sleep. No better sleep with Sleep Number.
Today, or go to quickenloans.com for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
A Weather Channel original series.
Every time I shoot a fish, when I'm wrestling them, that's when I'm scared.
Catching Hell, Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Good morning at 52 minutes after the hour. Your Weather Channel is standing by today for storms moving across a good part of the country. Some of them will be strong to severe. We welcome you with this picture of Panama City. And it's currently at 72 degrees and cloudy. Going to be some afternoon storms in 83. And I promised I would keep this place just to myself. But I'm going to tell you about it, because if you're looking for a place that's like the Caribbean, but you can't afford the flight, Panama City has the whitest sand and the bluest water ever. Absolutely gorgeous. Time for our tropical update. Carl Parker, we're watching, what is it? Is it 2E? What is it?
Yeah, that's right. Tropical Depression 2E is going to be coming into Mexico tonight or early tomorrow, and it's not a very strong storm. It's not going to do much besides produce a lot of heavy rain in mountainous terrain, and that could mean life-threatening mudslides and flooding. So here's the latest from the Hurricane Center on this system. Now a 35-mile-per-hour system, not moving very much right now at all. And as we take a look at the satellite picture, you notice that the low is just offshore. There are some thunderstorms associated with that center of low pressure, but they're not really wrapped around it. It's not terribly well organized right now, and it's running out of time to become more organized, because it's going to be moving onshore and it's going to be moving into land. These systems, as you know, draw their energy from the warm and humid air that sits over top of very warm ocean waters. So a weaker system, but what it will do, as mentioned, is produce a lot of heavy rain. There are mountains in here that are as high as 9,000 feet, and that will channel and funnel that water and could lead to very serious flooding there in Mexico. Now, the question is, what's going to happen after it crosses that relatively small area of land and comes out into the Gulf of Mexico? And the U.S. GFS model has been pretty consistently indicating that we'd have a low pressure developing there in the southern Gulf, whereas the European model is just not impressed by this idea at all. So what it may be is we may see some heavier rain, some moisture coming up towards Florida, and not much more than that. There is still an outside chance that we'll see some development, but we do think the tropical moisture is going to increase, and that is actually fairly typical at this time of the year. We are now getting into the rainy season there in South Florida and also in West Florida, in Tampa. We do expect to see a lot more heavy rain in those parts of Florida at this time of the year. Sam Maria, back to you.
Absolutely, Carl. And we don't need your help, by the way, Carl, getting rain in that South Florida area, because when those storms light up, they light up big with big rainfall totals. This is very interesting.
A big talker all morning. Does sexism play a role in storm safety? According to a new study from the University of Illinois, they claim to have insight into the human behavior, and they say it does.
All right. Now, some researchers, hang on, some researchers believe that folks with hurricane names that are female, that people believe they're less threatening than male names. And they also suggest that female storms are statistically the most deadly.
All right, so we wanted to get to the source here. So joining us now to explain the results, one of the study's authors, Sharon Shavid. And Sharon, we appreciate your time here with us this morning so much. There is obviously some debate already this morning among meteorologists about how these results come about, how you came about with these results. So tell us, what things did you take into account?
Yes, well, we used over 6 decades of death rates from hurricanes that made landfall in the United States. We looked at deaths that occurred in the continental United States based on data made available by NOAA on their website. And we found through modeling these data that for severe hurricanes, ones that were high in damage, the more feminine the name of the storm, the more people it killed. In doing this modeling, we took into account a number of variables. As I mentioned, the damage that the storm created in adjusted dollars for inflation, as well as the minimum barometric pressure of the storm, which is an indicator of severity. And we also looked at how long ago the storm occurred. And what we found is that even controlling for all of these elements, the degree to which the storm was named with a feminine name, like Ginger or Camille or Diane, predicted the number of deaths that it caused.
Okay, now Sharon, but you know that it's totally random. I mean, these names are pulled out totally at random. They're not named prior to their development. They're not named because they're developing in a location that is particularly more dangerous. So just to get that cleared up with everybody, that the names are completely pulled at random, and this is just kind of a statistical average that you guys found and is a talkable point and is kind of an interesting point. But just to wrap up, Sharon, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you. We had a 3-second delay, so it always makes it a little difficult for the back and forth, just so you understand. We'll get the checklist out of the way right now, and let's get to it. So the things you need to know, by the way, for the Northeast, you start out nice, but boy, do you get some storms this afternoon. Make sure that you're aware of that by the time you're coming home.
And the Midwest has to be on high alert as well, looking at that strong wind and hail, all possible, not just as we develop into the afternoon, but overnight.
8 states hosting primary elections today. California, for the first time, using a ballot that ignores political parties.
And there's a TORCON of 7 in Nebraska today. Make sure and have a storm plan ready. Could be a pretty active afternoon and evening.
All right. It's been a fun Tuesday. We're glad you're with us. Make it amazing for you and someone else.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 82. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 73. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now in Wake Up with Al, a significant threat for severe weather from the plains into the Midwest. Some areas already under a Torcon of 7. We've got the timing for the arrival of the worst, including who's in for an overnight storm threat. Steph?
And another warm day on tap for the Northeast with temperatures soaring into the upper 80s and 90s. The changes are in store. So when will we see that cool down? We'll let you know coming up.
This is not just about disappearing polar bears and melting ice caps.
The EPA announcing an aggressive plan to limit carbon emissions from existing power plants. We're going to sit down with the head of the EPA with details on what it means for our energy here in the U.S. right here, right now on Wake Up with Al.
Live from New York and the heart of Rockefeller Center, it's Wake Up with Al with Al Roker and Stephanie Abrams.
Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2014. Welcome to Wake Up with Al. We are in Dallas, Pioneer Plaza. It is going to be a scorcher here, but of course, the big story, the severe weather that's breaking out in the Midwest later today and on overnight. It's the lead. It's our top 3 stories. Let's get it started. Of course, we've got that severe threat we're talking about for the Midwest. It's going to be stormy in the Northeast and record heat here in the South. Our big story, of course, the top one, the severe weather today that's going to start in the afternoon and roll on right into the overnight hours. Rapid City, Omaha, good portions of Iowa, into St. Louis and into southern Indiana. We're looking at strong storms. We're going to detail that in just a moment. Torcons of 7 for some areas. A stormy Northeast as this system moves to the east. Look for heavy rain into the Northeast and into northern New England, and record heat in the South. Denver, you're going to see a high of 90. That's 13 degrees above average. Dallas, here in the Big D, 5 degrees above average with a high of 93. El Paso, 108 degrees. Let's get the latest on the severe threat with Carl Parker in Atlanta.
Hey, Al, we've been watching some stronger storms this morning across parts of Nebraska. No warnings on any of these, and they're now beginning to settle down a little bit, but it's going to get a whole lot more active, we think, this afternoon and this evening. And here's a look at the radar picture. Notice the storms that are now driving towards Omaha and Lincoln, and what they are doing is laying down a little boundary. And don't know if you can see it right in here, but right there, that little line, that is the leading edge of cooler air that has come out of the backside of this particular storm, and new storms will likely fire along that boundary later today. And because the parameters are so high, because there's so much warm and humid air available, because there's colder air aloft and very strong winds aloft, the parameters really suggesting we're going to get possibly strong tornadoes and then a long-lasting wind event. So here's a look at the high-resolution model. Notice the individual cells that pop out there right along the 80 corridor, along that boundary that we talked about. And with these, there could be, again, long tracks, strong tornadoes, possibly, and then we'll find more individual cells popping out there in parts of northern Missouri. And then later tonight, we'll watch those storms grow upscale, as we say. They're going to begin to congeal into a big line of thunderstorms. The cool air that comes out of the base of those storms forms a cold pool, and along the leading edge of that cold pool, we find these lines of storms that will be driving very quickly off to the south and to the east, supported by very strong mid-level winds, and could very well produce widespread wind damage anywhere from Nebraska into Iowa, parts of northern Missouri, Kansas, including Kansas City. So that's the area of concern for today. Torcon values are way up there in some cases, 4 out of 10 in northern Kansas and also into southern Iowa, but we are talking about a 7 out of 10 in central parts of Nebraska. Al, back to you.
Well, we're looking at warmer weather. Take a look. Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. Temperatures in the 60s on your way to work. 80s by the time you head home, and those higher temperatures still going to be hanging out with us. Jet stream is way to the north. High pressure off the eastern seaboard. That pumps up that return flow of air, warmer temperatures. So for today, New York City 85, D.C. 86, Pittsburgh, you're going to see a high of 78 degrees. And then as we move on into tomorrow, look for those warm 80s to hang around New York City again, looking for a high of 82, 88 in Roanoke, D.C. 85. Hourlies for Philadelphia, the average high 79 degrees, and you can see we stay above that for most of the afternoon hours. All right, Steph.
Al, thanks. We now have Dara Brown, who's joining us this morning with our MSNBC headlines. Good morning, Dara.
Good morning to you, Steph. And here's a look at the top stories we're following today. More questions are being raised following the release of Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl as part of a prisoner of war exchange. Bergdahl is now recovering at a U.S. military hospital in Germany after being held for 5 years in captivity by the Taliban. His hometown is preparing to welcome him home as a hero, but some military officials are upset, calling Bergdahl a deserter. The NTSB has recovered the black boxes from the wreckage of a plane crash that killed 7 people over the weekend, including Philadelphia Inquirer co-owner Louis Katz. The voice recorder and flight data recorder could possibly help explain the cause of the crash. NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden is seeking asylum outside of Russia. Snowden says he formally requested political asylum from several countries, including Brazil. The Brazilian government says it has yet to receive a formal application. Snowden fled the U.S. a year ago after leaking top-secret documents about U.S. surveillance programs.
I'm having a mental block. Who did the JFK movie?
Oliver Stone.
Yeah, he's going to do...
The Snowden story.
Yeah.
I know. What interesting twists will come out of that?
We will see for sure. Dara, thank you for that. Now to Jen Delgado for our day ahead.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. And as we look across parts of the southeast, as we started off at 11 a.m., fairly quiet out there. You can see for Florida, temperatures in the 80s, dry. A few more clouds out there, even the same for Atlanta, 77 degrees. Well, let's advance this for you from 11 a.m. and through the afternoon and start to see some of the green in the form of thunderstorms arriving. These are going to be popping up with the afternoon heating. And then as we go into the overnight hours, they'll be fizzling out. But you can see from Montgomery as well as into New Orleans, they're going to be looking at the threat for some isolated thunderstorms as well. Here's your forecast for you, Atlanta. We'll keep you dry all the way through about 5 o'clock, and then that's when we can see some of those storms popping up. Today, we'll see highs in the lower 80s and then 70s around by the evening hours. As we look for parts of the northeast, rain anywhere you're seeing in green to start off the morning as well as into the early part of the afternoon. And then as we go into the daytime, by the time you're, say, heading home for work, we're going to start to see some of these thunderstorms popping up for the big cities like New York, Philadelphia, as well as even into parts of Baltimore. This is at 11 o'clock at night. Notice things start to settle down. Still looking at some storms for Albany. Then we look at for Philadelphia, isolated storms from 1 o'clock all the way through about 11 o'clock tonight. So heads up and keep an eye to the sky. Midwest, it's starting off quiet out there. Chicago as well as into St. Louis. Sunshine as we go through the day. Some storms. Right now, we send it over to Stephanie and Al.
Thank you so much. Well, sweeping changes being proposed by President Obama and the EPA about coal emissions. What does it all mean? Julie Martin sits down with the EPA administrator to tell you what all of this means for us.
For Paul Ridley, there's no substitute for Advil. It's built to be as fast as it is strong and fights pain at the site of inflammation. And made for people like Paul, who believe nothing should stop you from achieving your goals. Not doubt, not fear, and definitely not back and shoulder pain. Advil has the strength and speed to help you move past pain and make today yours. Advil. Make today yours.
Ugh, the stress.
New Coppertone Clearly Sheer sunscreens. Barely noticeable and face-friendly for beach, pool, and sunny days. Perfect, no matter what you're wearing.
It's so on.
Coppertone Clearly Sheer. It's on.
Grow. It's what we do. But when we put something in the ground, feed it, and care for it, don't we grow something more? We grow big celebrations and personal victories. We grow new beginnings and better endings. Grand gestures, and perfect quiet. We grow escape, bragging rights, happier happy hours. So let's grow something greater with Miracle-Gro. What will you grow? Share your story at miraclegrow.com.
I'm taking a beating here down to the ground as we're just dealing with these sheets of rain and winds that are howling 50, 60 miles per hour. I'm gonna ride this one out, guys. I'm gonna ride this one out right here.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 82. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Low 73. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weather Channel original series.
This is a dangerous job.
Catching Hell, Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Out here, answers should always outweigh excuses. And there's no excuse why a gas-powered heavy-duty truck can't do everything you ask of it. No excuse at all. The new 6.4-liter Hemi-powered Ram Heavy Duty. Guts, glory, Ram.
This Father's Day, let's turn our hero into a superhero. Let's give him the power, consult with his sidekick, and equip him with all the super toys he needs. All on a mild-mannered budget, so he can spend some quality time back in his lair. Then come out strong and save the day. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. The Husky 200-piece mechanics tool set, just $99, guaranteed forever.
10 past the hours, you'll look at Dallas. Downtown Dallas, summer starting early here in the Lone Star State. Temperatures are going to be in the 90s later today after being in the 70s this morning. And that's not even the hottest it's going to get, not the hottest city. Look at El Paso. High today, 108. That will smash the record high of 102. And they're not alone with above normal temperatures. Phoenix will be 108 degrees today. Albuquerque, 98. We're looking at Lubbock with 93. Tomorrow it's going to be toasty as well. El Paso again with temperatures into the 100s. And you can see it just continues right into Thursday. In fact, as you look, Dallas's average high, 89 degrees. Well, right through the week, we stay above average. Yesterday, President Obama and the EPA announcing new restrictions on coal-fired power plants that by 2030, power emissions or carbon emissions have to be reduced by 30%. What does it all mean? Let's go back to Steph as we get more.
On Monday, the Environmental Protection Agency announced its most aggressive plan ever to limit carbon emissions from existing power plants. The plan is already under fire, and the Weather Channel's Julie Martin spoke one-on-one with the head of the EPA in Washington.
This is a crackdown on carbon emissions from America's biggest polluters, existing coal-fired power plants.
This is not just about disappearing polar bears and melting ice caps. This is about protecting our health, and it is about protecting our homes.
The plan will require plants to slash emissions by 30% compared to 2005 levels by 2030.
We didn't decide on a number. That's the number that came out of the process.
EPA Administrator Gina McCarthy says this will ultimately save lives and save on health care, up to $90 billion by 2030. The proposal falls under the Clean Air Act and is a cornerstone of President Obama's climate plan. He stressed the plan's health benefits from a children's hospital.
In just the first year that these standards go into effect, up to 100,000 asthma attacks and 2,100 heart attacks will be avoided.
Critics are concerned about the health of the economy. They say it will raise your utility bills and cut thousands of jobs.
When you look at where we're going to be in 2030, people's bills will be lower by 8% than where they are today.
States would have flexibility in how they meet the stricter standards, like offsetting emissions with wind and solar, something the EPA points out many states are already doing.
I think we've debated the science for a very long time, and this is really about taking action.
The plan still has a long way to go. Next, it undergoes a period of public review. It will also likely face a lot of legal opposition. If it survives, it'll be finalized next summer. In Washington, I'm meteorologist Julie Martin, the Weather Channel.
Now, this new rule on its own will not lower greenhouse gas pollution enough to stop climate change, but in combination with other regulations would allow the U.S. to meet its commitment to the United Nations to cut carbon pollution by 17% by 2020. One day we'll all agree on at least one thing, right? Just something? Well, we're tracking storms throughout the day with the threat of severe weather into the evening. Just ahead, storm specialist Carl Parker will break down who's at greatest risk for a derecho and exactly what that means.
Haven't we always wanted our own island? One without car horns or stoplights, but one filled with forts and uncharted paths, carriage rides and bike rides, and games we play all day, where the sun can't wait to wake up, and adventure waits around every corner. Nestled in the deep blue waters of Lake Huron, our island is Mackinac Island. Our island is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
With Weight Watchers, you can eat this, this, and this. Whip up this, munch on that, and dine out on this. That's 7 days a week. No tracking, no counting, no measuring. And you'll start losing weight right away with our 2-week Simple Start plan. So jumpstart your summer and join for free. Try meetings, do it online, or both. Hurry, offer ends June 7th. Weight Watchers, because it works.
Anna.
Ready!
Now every stop is an opportunity to save gas. And maybe someone's day. Introducing the new fuel-efficient 2014 Malibu with stop-start technology. The car for the richest guys on Earth.
Start your summer off right and get $2,000 customer cash on every 2014 Chevy Malibu.
When you're ready,
ServPro, how can we help?
help gets there faster. The cleanup specialists at 1-800-ServPro and ServPro.
Roaches love kitchens and bathrooms. But they'll use air vents like secret passages in a medieval castle.
For this house, I alternate my baits, giving them a different active ingredient every time. Who's hungry? To keep them from building immunity. They can sneak through walls, but not past science. To catch a pest, you have to think like a pest, not just in any home. In your home.
At Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, we can quickly take care of any plumbing need. From busted water heaters to shower fixtures and everything in between. Our trained and trusted experts are focused entirely on plumbing, so we can get you back to your life faster.
You're right on time.
Call 877-BEN-1776 today and get $50 off any plumbing service. If there is any delay, it's you we pay.
Loans today or go to quickenloans.com for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8th, brought to you by Allstate. Are you in good hands?
It's always the same dilemma. Who gets the Allstate Safe Driving Bonus Check?
Rock beats scissors.
Wife beats rock.
And with 2 checks a year, everyone wins.
Switch today and get 2 safe driving bonus checks a year for driving safely only from Allstate. Call 866-906-8500 now.
Zach really loves his new camera. Problem is, this isn't Zach. It's a friend of a friend who was at Zach's party and stole his camera. But Zach's got it covered. with Allstate Renters Insurance.
Protect your valuables for as low as $4 a month when you add renter's insurance to your Allstate auto policy. Call 866-906-8500 now.
What are you doing?
We're switching car insurance.
Why?
Because these guys are the cheapest.
Why?
Good question. Because a cut rate price could mean cut rate protection.
You should listen to this guy.
With Allstate, you get great protection and a great price, plus an agent. Drivers who switch saved an average of $498 a year. Call now and see how much you can save.
Just a few more ways Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
Call an Allstate agent and get a quote now.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 82. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Low 73. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Wake Up with Al. The latest on the timing for today's storms from the plains, and this could be potentially dangerous weather going on from Billings to Rapid City on in the North Platte. We're looking at the severe weather, tornadoes, damaging wind, hail, heavy rain, and then as we move on into tonight, into tomorrow, into tonight, I should say tonight, we're looking at those severe storms stretching into central Indiana, back into Nebraska. This is a really dangerous situation with changeable conditions. And in fact, the Torcon, Omaha, Nebraska, a 7. Des Moines, Iowa, a 6. Kansas City, a 5. And those Torcons go overnight into the early morning hours. So, and then may develop into derecho. Let's get to Carl Parker. Carl, what are the effects of a derecho? And for folks who don't know, can you break it down for us? What are we talking about?
Well, a derecho, Al, is basically a long-lived complex of thunderstorms that produces widespread damaging wind over a very large area and oftentimes really high-end thunderstorm wind. And in fact, here are the specific criteria for a derecho. It's a swath of damaging winds that extends for more than 240 miles, and within that, several well-separated wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or greater. Now, this is not criteria, just an additional fact. The most destructive derechos have produced winds topping 100 miles per hour. And this is how we think that's going to happen. We're going to see individual cells popping out here in Nebraska. And then with those, there's going to be a tornado, very large hail, and a wind threat. But then that cool air that comes out of the base of those storms is going to begin to pool. And we'll find new storms developing along the leading edge of that pool, driven by very strong mid-level winds. And so along with that big complex of storms, as it moves down into Illinois overnight, even over into areas farther east, we could be talking about many areas getting very strong wind overnight and even early tomorrow morning. Over to you.
All right, Carl, thank you. The classic Aladdin is now on Broadway, and every night audiences fill the theater to visit the magical land of Agrabah. And joining us this morning is the Disney Princess Jasmine. In studio. Courtney Reed is joining us this morning. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good
I kind of just want to call you Princess Jasmine. Is that okay?
Yeah,
if
that's
I do
totally
for the whole
fine.
time?
That's
okay.
totally fine.
So you get on, this carpet and ride it every night in the theater. First, let's talk about the weather in Agrabah. What is it like there, right? It's hot and dry.
Yes, to quote the show, the heat is intense.
Oh,
yes, it's very intense.
Very intense. So how does that affect your voice with the hot, dry weather?
Oh, well, I have to make sure that I'm very hydrated, of course. I like to drink coconut water. And I do some steaming.
Yes.
And I'm good to go.
Now, you wear, these little outfits, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit cool in the theater, I would guess. For the audience, they have to keep a current temperature. Do you ever get cold in those outfits?
I do. We have these Aladdin robes that we like to wear. So I'm
a little trick there.
Yeah, that's a little trick. I like to walk around with my little Aladdin robe.
Why do you think after all these years, Aladdin still resonates with so many people?
It's just kind of it's so timeless, the story, and you can, all ages, all ethnicities can relate to this story. I identified with the story when I was a little kid, and like my parents still have a good time, and my grandma still understands it. It's just,
and the songs are just so good.
They're so good. They're classic.
Absolute classics.
Yeah.
Courtney, it must be like so strange to come as a little kid and now you're on Broadway being this icon.
It's totally weird. I mean, my friends always tell me, like, do you realize you're playing Princess Jasmine on Broadway? Like, I used to sing A Whole New World in the shower.
Right.
I used to dress up. I know. I would dress up as Jasmine for Halloween, and always. I mean, it's just such a dream come true. I still can't believe it's happening. It's
Congratulations.
Weird.
Thank you, Courtney.
I can't believe you ordered all 25 shakes.
Thanks for the salted caramel shake, Kara.
Really can't believe you know her name.
I kind of have nicknames for everybody based upon my order.
Salted caramel, Kara.
Yeah. Holly for jalapeno chocolate.
That's
and
great.
Janine for peanut butter.
Why Janine for peanut butter?
Because she reminds me of my ex-girlfriend Janine, who was nuts.
She was crazy.
Celebrate summer with 25 hand-mixed real ice cream shakes, all half price after 8 p.m. And try our Asiago Caesar Chicken Club. This is how you Sonic.
Hershey's Drops. Perfectly bite-sized drops of rich and creamy chocolate happiness. When the chocolate is Hershey's, life is delicious.
Whoa. 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 Wow.
After 50 years of designing cars for crash survival, Subaru has developed our most revolutionary feature yet. A car that can see trouble and stop itself to avoid it. When the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety tested front crash prevention, nobody beat Subaru models with eyesight. Not Honda, not Ford, or any other brand. Subaru Eyesight, an extra set of eyes every time you drive.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm. Saved $760. Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky!
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
All right, Mama, let's get going. Nap time is calling my name.
Get to a better state. State Farm.
People all over the world know us, but they don't yet know we're a family. We're right where you need us. At the next job, next adventure, or at the next exit. Helping you explore super destinations and do everything under the sun. 12 brands, more hotels than anyone else in the world. So wherever you want to be, whatever you want to do, chances are we're already there. Save up to 25% and earn bonus points when you book at WyndhamRewards.com.
Jack.
Energizer protects your devices from damaging leaks.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 82. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 73. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
A Weather Channel original series.
This is a dangerous job.
Catching Hell, Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
This morning on Wake Up with Al, bracing for storms, the severe threat ramping up from the plains to the Midwest. Mike Bettis and the Tornado Track team are monitoring conditions in Nebraska, where we've got a Torcon of 7. He's going to bring us a live report straight ahead. Steph.
Meanwhile, we've seen the destructive nature of hurricane-force winds to coastal homes, but how does a hurricane cause such damage to downtown areas? We'll break down the Venturi effect right here, right now on Wake Up with Al.
Live from New York and the heart of Rockefeller Center, it's Wake Up with Al Roker and Stephanie Abrams.
Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2014. Welcome back to Wake Up with Al. We've got a split edition of our program. I'm Al Roker in Dallas, Pioneer Plaza. Steph back in New York, and the latest, Steph, on this severe weather. I mean, this is going to be really dangerous today on into tonight. It will be the focus of the Weather Channel all day, plus a stormy northeast and record heat in the south. Today, from the plains all the way to the Midwest, we are talking about severe weather. Torcons of 7. We'll detail those in a moment, plus a live report from Mike Bettis in the heart of where these severe storms could hit. We're also looking at the northeast, going to be looking at wet weather later this morning on into the afternoon hours. Could be some airport delays from Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York on into Boston. And record heat continues in the south. We're talking about temperatures anywhere from 5 to 20 degrees above average. Carl standing by at the expert desk with more on our severe weather.
Hey, Al, a lot of the parameters are really high today for the potential for strong tornadoes along with damaging wind and very heavy rain and hail. So all the threats will be wrapped up into these systems that develop today. And here, first of all, is a look at the visible satellite picture. So we had some storms already today, not severe storms. Little cluster now coming into Lincoln and Omaha has really settled down. But notice this line, which extends from that. That is an outflow boundary. That's the cooler air that has come around the backside of that little complex of thunderstorms, and that boundary could be the focal point for new development going into this afternoon. We're going to talk to Mike Bettis, who's very close to that boundary, in just a moment. And here's a look at the model forecast going through the afternoon. So what it's showing is development of some individual cells along that boundary here, and along with those, we could be talking about rotating cells that are producing tornadoes, and then we're going to start to see them congeal into a large complex. What they do is they start pooling the cool air that comes out of the base of the storm. We've all felt that. And along the leading edge of that pool of cool air, you've got thunderstorms that are being pushed up. And this is going to go through the night and will be driven by very strong mid-level winds. And that mid-level energy is going to be transferred down. So we could be talking about a widespread wind event here. This is how it times out. The greatest tornado threat will be this afternoon into the early evening in Nebraska. Then we're looking at the ongoing wind and tornado threat into late this evening, and then more wind even through the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning, and a lot of heavy rain with the system as well. Could be 3 to 5 inches in pockets there, southern parts of Iowa and also into northern Missouri. All right, let's go out live now to Mike Bettis. He's been reporting on this system from Nebraska. And Mike, I know you're near Grand Island. I imagine that outflow boundary has come through where you are, yes?
Oh, it did. It got really cold, Carl, when that storm line just kind of put down an outflow and temperatures dropped significantly. We've got a little bit of sunshine at times, and so it's warmed us up somewhat. You know, if we get some more breaks in the overcast here and we see a little bit more blue, we'll increase the surface heating, will increase our instability today, and that'll really begin to trigger some storms this afternoon when things get going. But it's definitely breezy for us right now. Our winds are generally coming out of the east-southeast right now. But we think we've got plenty of surface wind shear that'll happen for us today, meaning we'll have some turning of wind with height as we go up into the atmosphere, and that'll be just enough, we think, with the instability today to get some rotating supercell thunderstorms, and we think some of them could be quite violent at that. They'll happen quickly, and we think that likely they'll put down maybe a couple of tornadoes in this area. Some of those could be very strong, some of them could be long track tornadoes. If there's any good thing about this part of the country, it's relatively rural. We have a lot of farmland here, and so there aren't a lot of homes necessarily to hit. They're real small pockets of metropolitan areas, generally along I-80. So, you've got to go north of I-80 is where we think some of this, initiation may happen, and that's a good thing because there's, again, as mentioned, very little to hit. One thing we'll follow for you this afternoon is the timing of it all, where it goes to, what your risk is through the evening and overnight to keep you ahead of that danger. But Al, a pretty rough day for a lot of folks here, and we'll, of course, keep you ahead of that danger. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, my friend. You stay safe as well. Now let's take a look live in Boston. Nice start to the morning, but coming home, not so nice. I'm gonna have to clean that lens off. I mean, it ruins an otherwise gorgeous picture. We are looking at showers and thunderstorms moving in later today. Hopefully with this rain, it'll wash that lens. You can see today scattered showers and thunderstorms. New England not quite into it today, but tonight you will. And then tomorrow you've got the heavier rain into Boston and Concord on up into Burlington. Severe storms back to the west. And as we move on into Thursday, this is going to be the big one. We're looking at heavy rain from New England all the way down to Washington, D.C. with scattered showers and thunderstorms back behind that. And into Friday morning, really, we're talking 2 to 3 inches of rain in and around New York, down into Philadelphia, 1 to 2 inches just near Boston. So today, sunshine for Boston, 76. Some showers move in tonight, and then Wednesday, a cool down and temperatures in the 60s. Now let's go back to Steph and get the latest on our news headlines.
Al, thank you. We have Dara Brown joining us again with our headlines, and today an anniversary, a tough one for many.
It is a tough one, Steph. We're leading today with a story out of China because they've stepped up security ahead of the 25th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square uprising. Police checkpoints have been set up across Beijing. Paramilitary troops are also patrolling the streets around the square. On June 4th, 1989, Chinese troops opened fire on student-led protests. To this day, the exact death toll of the crackdown remains unclear. Well, Dan Marino has joined the growing chorus of professional football players suing the NFL over concussions. The Hall of Fame quarterback filed suit with 14 other former players. They join over 5,000 former players who claim the NFL concealed information and misled athletes about football-related head injuries. And in other sports news, the Minnesota Vikings' Chad Greenway is more than just a linebacker. He's a hero. Greenway came to the rescue over the weekend when a couple's boat became uncontrollable in Minnesota. Greenway jumped in the water and guided the vessel out of danger and helped the couple get to land.
You always wonder if you're in those situations, what would you do? As you see these people do these heroic acts. So
exactly. Well, you're just doing the right thing.
Yeah. Or something that you can do. Sometimes you get scared, won't be able to handle it. Dara, thank you. Hey, Jen, what's today head look like?
Yeah, let's look at the southeast. Now, we're starting off quiet out there with a few more clouds around. But as we go through the day, from 11 o'clock into the afternoon hours, we are going to see some storms firing up with that afternoon heating. That includes Atlanta as well as into Montgomery. You can see for Jacksonville, quiet for you. And then we go into the evening hours, and we're going to start to see things really settling down. We'll start to see the sky clearing out. But for New Orleans, how about your forecast? Today, chance for hit or miss storms out there as we go from 10 a.m. to 10 o'clock 9. Again, hit or miss action for you. High temperatures will once again be in the 80s. Now in the Midwest, it looks all beautiful out there, starting it off with sunshine, temperatures in the 60s as well as in the 70s. St. Louis, you'll start off your morning with temperatures in the 70s, and then you're going to start to see the clouds building in, and then the chance for isolated thunderstorms to pop up. And you see the area in red as we go into the evening hours. Some of those becoming strong, moving into western parts of Iowa, as the same into parts of Missouri. That's 10 o'clock tonight. Certainly heads up because some of these storms could potentially produce some tornadoes as well as damaging winds. For Des Moines, here's your forecast. It's all quiet to 2 o'clock, and then as we go into the evening, that's when we start to see those storms arriving. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Stephanie Abrams. Steph.
Just ahead on Wake Up with Al, Stephanie sits down with action star Chris O'Donnell and his plan to get kids up and moving and more active. That and more when we come back on Wake Up with Al.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 82. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Low 73. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
In the nation, it's not always pretty. But add brand new belongings from Nationwide Insurance, and we'll replace destroyed or stolen items with brand new versions. We take care of the heat, so you don't get burned. Just another way we put members first, because we don't have shareholders. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Insurance.
Nationwide is on your side.
The new Sea-Doo Spark. It's bringing the fun your family has been dreaming of. Easy to own and a thrill to ride. But the biggest rush is realizing you can own one now. The Sea-Doo Spark, starting at $49.99.
I'm a painter, and Scotch Blue is my tape.
I'm a painter, and Scotch Blue is my tape.
Pro painters count on Scotch Blue. Now with advanced Edge-Lock paint line protector for even sharper paint lines.
I am a painter, and Scotch Blue is my tape.
Scotch Blue Painter's Tape.
Best Western, stay 3 separate times and get a free night. And use it here. Or here. Or even here. And when you stay, enjoy breakfast and free high-speed internet. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Grow. It's what we do. But when we put something in the ground, feed it and care for it, don't we grow something more? We grow big celebrations and personal victories. We grow new beginnings and better endings. Grand gestures and perfect quiet. We grow escape, bragging rights, happier happy hours. So let's grow something greater with Miracle-Gro. What will you grow? Share your story at miraclegrow.com.
We don't sit idle, wondering how we're going to build a better truck. We get out there and walk a mile, thousands of miles, in the footsteps of the guys we build trucks for. The groundbreaking Ram Heavy Duty, with 30,000 pounds of towing and 850 pound-feet of torque.
It's the little things in life that make me smile. Spending the day with my niece. I don't use Super Polygrip for hold because my dentures fit well. Before, those little pieces would get in between my dentures and my gum, and it was uncomfortable.
Even well-fitting dentures let in food particles. Super Polygrip is zinc-free. With just a few dabs, it's clinically proven to seal out more food particles, so you're more comfortable and confident while you eat.
So it's not about keeping my dentures in, it's about keeping the food particles out.
Try zinc-free Super Polygrip.
Surely a vacuum shouldn't just work on carpets. Well, the Dyson DC65 cleans better than any other vacuum across hard floors and carpets. Works for me.
Now save up to $100 on Dyson technology.
The best part of coming together is how delicious it can be. Hershey's Smarts, the unmistakable taste that reminds us that life is delicious.
Coming up on 43 minutes past the hour as we continue on Wake Up with Al. This severe weather, we are really concerned about this. Of course, the Weather Channel is built to bring you this kind of information, and we'll be providing it all day long. Right now, we're looking at severe weather from Billings, Montana, all the way to Kansas City into central and western Illinois later this afternoon. Torcon of 4 for northern Kansas. That means there's a 40% chance within a 50-mile radius of a tornado occurring. Same in southern Iowa. And then as you get into Nebraska, southern Nebraska, a 7. And the big concern, of course, is going to be the fact that these tornadoes, the strong risk will be on into tonight from North Platte to Salinas to Kansas City, St. Louis, Davenport, pushing on into central Indiana, a risk of these storms. So look at the Torcons. Southern Nebraska, overnight, a 7. A 70% chance. Northern Kansas, a 60% chance. And as we make our way to the east, southern Iowa, northern Missouri, a 50% chance. And as Steph has mentioned, you've got a double the chance of being killed by a tornado overnight as you do during the daytime hours. So this is a very volatile situation, and of course we will continue to track it here on the Weather Channel. Mike Bettis is live in Nebraska. We've got the entire team fanning out. Now for more on your day outside the severe zone, back to Atlanta and Jen Delgado.
All right, good morning to you, Al, and we're going to be looking at that threat certainly for today across parts of the plains as well as the Midwest. Here it is for you. If you're in the red today from Montana all the way down towards northern parts of Missouri, be aware that we could see some of these storms, as Al just said, producing some tornadoes out there, certainly getting stronger as we go into the afternoon and evening. Scattered showers and thunderstorms arriving in the south. These are just our afternoon storms, and we're going to see some popping up across parts of the northeast as we go right around the time you're driving home. So maybe you can skip out a little bit early. Here's your forecast for tomorrow. Severe weather setting up for parts of the Dakotas. Then we're going to spread into the Midwest, the Ohio Valley. In addition to the severe weather, we're also talking about the potential for some flooding because this is going to be dropping down some very heavy rainfall, so heads up for you. Then we jump ahead into Thursday. The severe weather threat goes away, but look at that front. We're still going to be looking at showers around in the southwest. It continues to suffer with temperatures in the triple digits, and we're not talking just 101, 110 like they saw yesterday in Phoenix. It is bitterly hot out there. Steph.
That is true. Well, our next guest is the definition of star power. He's been nominated for a Golden Globe, appeared in countless movies, TV shows, and even on Broadway. The star of the hit drama NCIS Los Angeles, Chris O'Donnell, is waking up with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so you just finished season 6.
Season 5.
Season 5.
Yeah, get ready for season 6.
So any weird weather occur? Because it was pretty hot, you know, in Southern California.
You know what? Yeah, we're starting to rumble out there a little bit, too. We're starting to get more earthquakes all of a sudden this year. So it's...
That's got to be a little unnerving.
Yeah, but the heat, I missed the last heat wave that came through.
Where were you back in your hometown?
I was back here. I was actually back here playing golf, yeah.
Oh, playing golf.
I got on hiatus. I go play golf immediately.
You grew up in Chicago, and they have had... like the worst winter
of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Chiberia is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Do you now avoid Chicago because you've been out of it for so long?
I mean, I still remember the blizzard of '79 when I was a kid. It was just endless bad weather. But as a kid, you loved it because A, you had snow days and you got out of school.
Yeah.
And B, it was just kind of fun when you could build sledding hills in your driveway.
Do you miss it?
I do miss it, but when it's perfectly sunny and Groundhog Day, it's 70 degrees every day in LA. It's tough to miss that.
It's tough. All right, so summertime's almost here, and sports are in full swing. By the way, did you play any sports growing up?
I played everything.
You played everything.
Baseball, football, soccer, hockey. I ran the whole gamut.
So you're a father of 5. I'm guessing you have your kids in some sports as well, and working with Liberty Mutual on the Responsible Sports Program. So what exactly is that program?
Basically, Liberty Mutual Insurance created this website called ResponsibleSports.com, and it's just helping to teach kids and families about good sportsmanship. Okay. And it's a really useful website for parents and for coaches in youth sports to help give you pointers to help explain good sportsmanship. We all know what good sportsmanship is, but sometimes it's harder to put it into words. It's funny. I've coached. Literally I have 5 kids playing every different sport.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is the kids enjoy themselves out there and have a great time with it. They're not all going to win the whole time. And the message we're just trying to get out there is if you haven't had a conversation with your kid about what good sportsmanship is, have it today. If you need some pointers, go to the website, ResponsibleSports.com. It's just teaching the kids that, good sportsmanship is all about obeying the rules and respectful of your opponents and your teammates. And sometimes there's great, role models in professional sports, and sometimes they're not so great. And that's okay, too, because you can have a conversation about that.
Chris, some parents need to visit the website, too. Those ones screaming on the side. Thanks for coming in so early. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to be back with a look at the Atlantic hurricane activity.
With Weight Watchers, you can eat this, and this. Whip up this, munch on that, and dine out on this. That's 7 days a week. No tracking, no counting, no measuring. And you'll start losing weight right away with our 2-week Simple Start plan. So jumpstart your summer and join for free. Try meetings, do it online, or both. Hurry, offer ends June 7th. Weight Watchers, because it works.
He was the most welcoming person that I ever knew.
Payne Stewart cared about everybody else.
He was the kind of guy that would be there for you if you needed him.
The story that needs to be felt is what a real true person he was.
His legend will continue to grow.
Payne, Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Monday night at 10 on Golf Channel.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 82. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Low 73. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Hello, beautiful. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hi, Anthony. How much does my discount double check save me?
About $150.
Done.
I don't have State Farm, but insurance, find me money.
I got you $1.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you with unexpected savings. That's getting to a better state.
This season, we're taking back the backyard. Let's mix, let's match, and let's grab these guys. Add this guy. Ooh, and this cool new thing. Save all these guys. And then let's mix it up. Let's turn the space we always had into the space we've always wanted. Let's do this. More.
All right, Alfonso. I got your money. Got your money right here. But you're not gonna get it. 'Cause you're a rat. You think I wouldn't know? You sold me out. You're a snitch. Louie, take him out. I said take him out.
Are your kids watching the right movies? Go to commonsense.org to find out.
I would describe my personal style as just that. It's totally personal. It's different every day. Logo line for QVC is about doing your own thing with clothes. Everything goes with anything. Don't be afraid. Play and mix and match and have layers. Style is yours, and nobody can take that away from you.
Parents have counted on us. So call or order online at 1-800-PetMeds.com today.
Tonight's scheduled programming will not be seen as special coverage of severe storms continues.
We're going to be with you all night long covering this severe weather threat.
Only on the Weather Channel.
52 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Wake Up with Al. Of course, we're going to be tracking this severe weather threat all day long. A derecho possible out of this system besides the tornadoes that could fire up late this afternoon and overnight. Weather Channel is your place to be as dangerous weather threatens. Now let's get the latest on our tropical update. For that, we turn to Carl Parker. Carl?
All right, now we are watching Tropical Depression number 2E south of Mexico. It's probably going to be moving in later today or very early tomorrow. It's a weaker system. It's a 35-mile-per-hour storm and probably will remain so. It may just become a tropical system, or storm rather, before it moves in. So here's the latest from the Hurricane Center. And right now it's moving north at 5 miles per hour. The pressure is a fairly high 1,000 millibars. And as we take a look at the current satellite picture, what's happening right now is it's a little discombobulated and it doesn't have a lot of time to get its act together. We're going to see it moving on shore here again pretty quickly later today or early tomorrow, and that will be the last of the time that it has over the open water, of course. And once it moves on land, then it will continue to weaken. The question is, what will come out on the other side as far as we're concerned? I'll get into that in just a moment. So there are tropical storm warnings up in southern parts of Mexico, but the main threat from this particular storm is going to be very heavy rain, and we're talking about several inches of rain there, and a lot of this is really mountainous terrain. In fact, right in there, we've got 9,000-foot mountains, and what that will do is channel and funnel that water, so there could be flash flooding and mudslides, landslides, and they could be life-threatening in that area. Now, again, the question beyond that is, will that system cross that little area of land and then come out into the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico intact? And one of our computer models does show that, and in fact has been indicating that for a long period of time. Notice the concentric circles right there showing that low pressure not moving very much. This is going into the weekend, just kind of sitting there in the southern Gulf, but perhaps eventually moving more off to the north and to the east. But the European model does not show that. The European model not showing those concentric circles, and in fact indicating that there won't be much of anything out of this except for perhaps an increase in the chance of rain there in Florida. We will watch it very carefully. Well, we've seen how hurricane-force winds can destroy coastal homes, but in huge cities like New York and Miami, it can devastate the massive high-rises that dominate the skylines. So what exactly causes the damage? It's a principle called the Venturi effect. As wind speeds down between tall buildings, it creates suction at the corners, pulling glass from the building's frame.
When the glass gets sucked out, all those shards of glass now finish up getting picked up by the wind and carried downwind, and of course they impact other buildings around them, so you have like a chain reaction effect. The presence of balconies, we found, can actually reduce suctions. If you can soften the corners, have chamfered corners or rounded corners or stepped-in corners, our general finding is that that will help.
To minimize the wind's impact on high-rises, many architects test their buildings in a wind tunnel before construction starts. The data is then applied to 3D computer models and used to help refine the design. Now let's go to Jen Delgado watching the severe weather threat for the rest of the day. Jen?
All right, Carl, you're right, and we'll continue to follow that because this is something we're going to be tracking as we go through midweek. Now, what we're looking at, of course, is that weak dip in that jet stream, and as we go through the day, we're going to see the storm system, this low developing, and move over towards the east. A lot of moisture out there, and storms will be popping up this afternoon. Some of these potentially as we go later into the day in the evening hours, producing some isolated tornadoes. Here's your severe weather threat today in the red, setting up for South Dakota as well as into Nebraska, into Iowa, Omaha, looking at Des Moines as well as into Kansas City. Your threat is going to be popping up as we go later into the evening hours. And then tomorrow, we're not done with this. This spreads into parts of Illinois, into regions including the Ohio Valley. Anywhere you're seeing in the red, this is our greatest threat for severe storms. But we don't want people to forget about the other threat here. We're talking some very heavy rainfall. Some of these areas going to be looking at some flooding problems. For today, if you're in the orange shaded area, you're going to be looking at the potential for some of these storms to become strong. With it, in addition to the threat of tornadoes, hail, as well as gusty winds. Torcons 4 for parts of Nebraska, southern Iowa at a 4 as well. When we say these numbers, we're talking the potential for tornadoes within 50 miles. In southern Nebraska, heads up, you have the highest number there with a Torcon of 7 out of the scale of 10. Now tomorrow, looking at severe weather threat once again from parts of the lower Great Lakes as well as into the Tennessee Valley. You can see Springfield, Missouri over towards Charleston. You're going to be looking at the severe weather as that storm system moves very slowly over towards the east. And then for tomorrow, Torcon of 4 for southern Illinois, central Indiana, a Torcon of 4 on a scale of 10. And then for parts of Kentucky, it looks like that northern region, you have a Torcon number of 3. Here is your forecast for you, Omaha. It's quiet right now, 72 degrees at 10 a.m. At noontime, 78, and then we'll see isolated storms popping up right around 4 o'clock, but certainly overnight it's going to be tricky. Right now, we'll send it over to Al.
And that does it for our 10 a.m. edition of Wake Up with Al. Again, stay tuned to the Weather Channel all day as this dangerous weather threatens. We are the place to be when you need to know what's going on out there. It may be amazing out there, but it's also dangerous, and we're the folks that can bring you the information you need to know. We'll see you here tomorrow bright and early, 5:30 a.m., and if we need be, we'll be on earlier than that. I'm Al Roker. Have a great day, everybody.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 82. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 73. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The strong severe threat is wrapping up right now. Millions will see dangerous lightning, damaging winds, and even we're tracking the potential for tornadoes. We've issued a Torcon of 7, and we'll tell you if we could have a dangerous derecho in the making.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Bettis coming to you live from Grand Island, Nebraska. This is an area that could be ground zero for tornadoes. When does it hit? Where does it go through the afternoon and evening? Get those details straight ahead on Weather Center Live.
Meanwhile, extreme drought and conditions aren't getting any better. More dangerous heat and dry times are ahead for the Southwest. Next, the cities where temperatures will climb over 100 degrees today. Weather Center Live starts right now.
Welcome to Weather Center Live. I'm Nick Walker.
And I'm Vivian Brown. An extremely active day is on deck for much of the country. We're talking storms that have the potential to spawn multiple tornadoes.
We've got live team coverage to bring you the very latest. Dr. Greg Postel is standing by with his expert analysis of the timing and the dangerous impacts of this system.
Plus, we have our own Mike Bettis. He's chasing the storms in Nebraska, and we'll check in with him in just a moment. But first, let's get right to Dr. Postel.
Yeah, thanks, Viv. Let's look at the area that we're talking about for severe weather today. It is really in the northern plains. Nebraska, as we mentioned, was basically ground zero, where we think it's all going to start later on this afternoon. And then as we move through tonight, that threat will move to the east-southeast and include Iowa, even northern Kansas, Missouri, and Illinois overnight tonight. So let's look at what we've got ongoing now. Actually, in South Dakota, we've got some severe thunderstorm warnings out here. One for Jackson, Pennington, and Shannon counties, primarily being warned for some small hail. But much farther to the south, later on today, that's where we expect the big stuff to get going in Nebraska. Look at the visible satellite shot right now. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but there's a thunderstorm cluster that's moving east-southeast across parts of the state. And what that's doing is laying out an outflow boundary. A little rain-cooled air is moving southward across the state. And what that really is effectively the warm front, where it's all going to get focused later on today, where we have very warm and humid air moving northward across the plains. Dew points right now are in the 70s in central Kansas, and it's very cool air off to the north. So you get where that air masses, those air masses are coming together right along that front. That's where it's all going to begin later on this evening, where we think the probability of tornadoes is high. We have Torcons of 7 in Nebraska, 70% chance of a tornado within 50 miles of any given location. So let's time it out for everybody and show you when and where the biggest tornado threat will be this evening. We think between about 4 and 8 o'clock, maybe 4 and 9, we'll have some big storms across this part of Nebraska with the possibility of some large tornadoes in there. And then as we move move through the overnight hours, it transitions into a high wind event. Look at the shape of this thing that the models are putting out. See that backward U shape? This suggests that the models are bringing out a high wind event that is going to be rolling across Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois all through the night, a long-lasting high wind event that will likely produce some damage with it. This is called a derecho, guys, and it's a long-lived thunderstorm complex that we expect to really go on all the way through the morning hours and may find itself in parts of Illinois and Indiana in the morning. How about that? So stay tuned for all the latest. Viv, back to you.
All right. Thanks very much, Dr. Postel. Of course, we will continue to keep a close eye on these storms, and we'll let you know if anything ramps up as soon as it does. Also waiting for things to ramp up is our own Mike Bettis. He's already on the ground in Nebraska. Mike, what are you seeing right now in the Grand Island area?
Well, this morning we have a little bit of cloud cover this morning. We've had some storms that rolled through north side of town, laid out a little outflow boundary, but you can see it's generally an overcast sky this morning. Temperatures have warmed up a bit, though. One thing that we may end up seeing this afternoon, and it may be plentiful, is some sunshine. That may actually be working against us, because what sunshine does is it causes an increase in surface heat. That means increase in buoyancy in the lower levels of the atmosphere, and that means upward moving air. We're increasing the instability in the atmosphere. I kind of look at it this way. It's like the atmosphere is Popeye and that sun is spinach. And if you get enough of that sun, you get enough of that spinach, you really make these storms that happen strong. So just keep that in mind. Be aware of your threat today. There's a large area at risk today, truly from Montana all the way down through western Illinois is our thunderstorm threat today. I want to update you on those torcons. And it does include northern Kansas. It does include southern Iowa. It does include eastern and southern Nebraska. 7 out of 10 on that torcon. So again, Vivian, we expect watches to be issued today. When those watches are issued, get ready to enact your plan. When warnings are issued, that means go to your safe place in your home, whether it's a basement, whether it's an interior room. Get there and get there quickly until the all clear is given. We'll cover it for you live right here on the Weather Channel throughout the afternoon.
All right. Thanks very much, Mike. Of course, we will be here to keep you updated. We'll be the first to let you know any watches or warnings issued for your area. Now let's check on the Northeast. Here's Nick.
And as thunderstorms continue to push toward areas of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, well, New York City, Philadelphia, you're in line to see some of these showers and thunderstorms as we get into the afternoon and into the evening hours. The big severe threat will be back toward the plains. Nevertheless, we could see some lightning from these storms as they move eastward, and we'll be tracking them moving eastward on into midweek as well. A lot of areas are going to see some wet weather here. All right, let's see. Are we on max 1? Going to try to get this to advance here, and we will find ourselves with more of these thunderstorms continuing to push eastward here. All right, New York City. That is your forecast here. Take a look. You're going to find yourself with more of those thunderstorms coming into play here for this afternoon, and then a little bit more rain coming into play here as we head on into your Thursday as well. Now, already we're seeing a bit of rainfall moving your way, and we'll find ourselves with some of those thunderstorms continuing to track into your area. The Nationals are at home in Washington, D.C. The Yankees are at home in New York, so we could see some rain delays in these areas as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. We will be going, by the way, all the way through the night and during the overnight hours here as we head into tomorrow. So 24-hour coverage of thunderstorms as they continue to push eastward. Now, watch the thunderstorms making their way toward the central portions of New York State and central Pennsylvania right now. Washington, D.C., probably just an hour or so away from you. Not a lot of lightning with these just yet, but we could see more of that as we head into your afternoon and evening hours. So there's your forecast for today. New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. Then into tomorrow, we're going to be watching Boston, northward up into New England, and Thursday, more widespread rain. And some of these rain showers, both today and on Thursday, could be pretty heavy. We got to watch out for some localized flooding problems here around some of the big cities. Vivian?
All right, well, keep it tuned right here because we are tracking the severe weather threat over the Central Plains minute by minute. We've got weather experts and emergency managers standing by to talk with us. Next, we'll tell you what they are seeing on the ground right now. Then, what you can expect for the next week, where rainstorms are moving in after the severe weather threat. And remember, we're with you all day, and all you need is the Weather Channel to keep you safe and ahead of these storms. We'll be here.
Haven't we always wanted our own island? One without car horns or stoplights, but one filled with forts and uncharted paths, carriage rides and bike rides, and games we play all day, where the sun can't wait to wake up, and adventure waits around every corner. Nestled in the deep blue waters of Lake Huron, our island is Mackinac Island. Our island is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
Weekdays are for rising to the challenge. They're the days to take care of business, when possibilities become reality. With CenturyLink as your trusted partner, our visionary cloud infrastructure and global broadband network free you to focus on what matters. With custom communication solutions and responsive, dedicated support, we constantly evolve to meet your needs every day of the week. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Wizarding World of Harry Potter, now with Diagon Alley and the Hogwarts Express. Come and live it. Universal Orlando Resort.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 83. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Low 73. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Tonight's scheduled programming will not be seen as special coverage of severe storms continues.
We're going to be with you all night long covering this severe weather threat.
Only on the Weather Channel.
All the goodness of milk, all the deliciousness of Hershey's syrup. Squeeze, stir, share.
Bridgestone tires perform best when you need it most.
Like when Julie Bowen is late taking her son to a birthday party.
Okay, people, you, front seat, you, out of my way. Julie has our new Drive Guard tires, the next generation of run flat technology.
Oh, good. Nails.
Well, these tires are engineered to take a puncture and then drive up to 50 miles.
50 miles? Great, because I remember the present, but I forgot the kid. Yeah, you need to check. Oh, I forgot. I have a lot of kids.
Grow. It's what we do. We grow big celebrations and personal victories. We grow new beginnings and better endings. Grand gestures, happier happy hours. So let's grow something greater with Miracle-Gro. What will you grow?
All right, checking in with Boston, 65 degrees right now. Clouds will be on the increase as we watch rain approach from the west. So we'll definitely keep you updated on the rain as it gets a little bit closer, but we do have fair conditions right now. Winds are out of the east to northeast, so we're getting an influence, of course, from the water. 9 miles per hour, those winds right now. But again, it's that easterly component that's keeping us a little coolish right now. Look at the forecast high for today, 72 degrees. That's about average. But once the front pushes through, look at tomorrow and Thursday, a significant cool down. What we're getting right now with temperatures in the middle 60s is what we'll have for the next couple of days as far as the afternoon highs go. Back to you, Nick.
All right, thanks so much, Viv. And we want to take you through today and beyond here over the next 7 days and show you more severe weather threats. It's going to be one of those days that, you know, for meteorologists, it's just one of those days where we sort of have this open-mouthed, jaw-dropping reactions to nature's power. And we look outside and we see the potential for the tornadoes here, particularly around portions of the plains, the potential for a derecho, some damaging damaging winds, even during the nighttime hours. So, it's one of those days where we say, yes, it is amazing out there, but on the other hand, it could be dangerous out there. So we want you to stay tuned and pay attention and make sure that even during the nighttime hours when you might be away from your television, when you might be sleeping, that you have a way to get those warnings. Because, you need to be woken up, you need to be aroused, you need to make sure that you can get to a safe place even during the nighttime hours if damaging winds or tornadoes come your way. It's a big, widespread threat area today we'll be watching, and lots of population centers, including Sioux Falls, Omaha, even down toward Kansas City could be in this threat area today. Now notice too where we're going to see more rainfall today, all the way up and down the eastern United States, and we'll see the severe threat move eastward tomorrow. The Ohio Valley, portions of the Midwest, that's the area that you need to be watching for the potential for some damaging winds, hail, maybe tornadoes. Then as we head through Thursday, we'll be watching rain to move eastward once again, Boston, New York, even into portions of the south, and back into the plains too, a shower and thunderstorm threat once again as we head into the latter part of the week. Here's your weekend forecast. We'll be watching for more of those storms.